Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It has been a long time coming, all right? And I believe this is
18, 19?
18, 19, might even... No, it's not 20 yet. I don't believe it.
Yet.
Yeah, not 20. But very close, very close. And so we are back, all right? And listen, we don't really know what to talk about today, but we're just gonna let the juices flow, okay? You know, because Cole and I were having a great conversation before this, and he was literally going into a deep thought. He was like, "Cal, turn on the fucking camera, man. Turn it on. Turn it on." So you know what, Cole? We're getting right into it. Let's go, boy.
All right, so I'm just gonna. So the semester's been rough. I'm taking a reset period, right? You know, I'm going to counseling. I'm getting some help to loosen the grasp of the demons from my mind. And we were talking about this, and number one, nothing wrong with going to counseling or getting help, with therapy or anything. I encourage it. I'm very much someone you'd expect to be like, don't talk about your feelings, be a man, from how I talk and act. But seriously, if you're feeling shitty, talk to someone about it. It's fucking great. I feel good. I've only been to 2 sessions. I feel awesome. But like I was saying, we're talking about my negativity in the session, and I was talking about how you are separate from your emotion, and it's like there's the anger and negativity that I possess, and there's also the me as a person, and like we talked about this last episode where it was like being anger versus being angry. Like you are separate from your emotion, right? And in that scenario specifically, it was like it's different because when you're the emotion, you're not yourself, and that's a big thing. Like people don't. Well, we talked about this last episode, obviously, but I'm just going to reiterate because it was present in my mind, and it was like you become something else because you're not just the negative emotion, and you're not just you either. You're some kind of fucked up amalgamation, like some mutant version of yourself, and it's somehow worse than the worst parts of both of those. You are the lesser of the sum of those parts. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's me driving the ship, but anger is driving me. So I'm angry driving the ship, and I'm losing my mind, and I'm crashing into the fucking iceberg. It's all fucked up, and it's not good. But it's weird that we talked about this before, but like detachment is very valuable. You gotta and lately because I've been so clouded, I haven't been able to properly do it. But now we're out of the semester. The worst part of the year is behind me. So now that I whiffed on an exam pretty bad, I'm gonna have to retake the class. It is what it is. So that's really how you have to treat it. You really got to look at the past for what it is. The past. No point in getting pissed about something I did yesterday because I can't go back in time and change it. So it's like now that I have the time to relax and reset and I can move forward, I don't need to dwell on what happened as much. You learn from it, but you don't need it.
Dude, that last point brought up something I really, just treat the past like it is what it is, you know what I mean? So, I was in the caf, right? Last day of the caf is open, right? Yeah. And so, the breakfast line to get a tofu scramble breakfast sandwich, that shit bangs, and it's like, that's what I like to eat, so I'm willing to wait that period. And so, bro, I'm getting up closer and closer, and I'm like, oh, dude, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm getting my tofu scramble. We're gonna be good. I don't have too much to do today. We're chilling. I get up to the line, and it's like after waiting for 20, probably 10, 15 minutes. And I say this to the guy. He's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "Can I have the tofu scramble?" He's like, "Yeah, we don't have any tofu." I'm not gonna eat eggs, because I could eat eggs, but since I'm a middle ground between vegetarianism and vegan, I don't. And also the eggs are questionable. Yeah. And he says, "Yeah, we're out of tofu." And for a millisecond, I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" but then I immediately switched my perspective, being like, "I don't have to hold this perspective. and I immediately changed my perspective, took a more proactive approach, got food. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, that fucking sucks, right? And I didn't let it be the story of my mind. Mm-hmm. I didn't let my thoughts attach to that narrative of, like, being, like, okay, it sure would have been a cool story to tell people and just be like, oh, dude, I just waited in line for 20 minutes and fucking, yeah, I just got anally fisted as hard as possible. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's funny as hell, but it has consequences with it. You know what I mean? And I immediately, as I switched my perspective, like, I still felt that little bit of, like, man, fuck. But it completely minimized, bro. And it was crazy. Because as soon as you switch that perspective, and like, Marcus Aurelius, fucking go, alright? He says, your suffering doesn't lie out there, it lies on how you judge it internally, right? And I'm paraphrasing, obviously. But it's like, as soon as you switch that judgment or detach from that judgment that's like a conditioned approach, right? When you don't get something you want, right?
You get fucking pissy or cry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you shift to a more proactive one, we talk about this all the time. You rewrite the programming of your mind. You rewrite the through, like, choosing to take a different perspective. And it's crazy because you start to minimize all that type of stuff. I've talked about this on the podcast before. Like, when I'm in situations where shit hits the fan, right? And like you said, you can either fucking cry about it, you know, or you could just be like, it is what the fuck it is, right? Take it with all the emotions and everything that is there, rather than adding to it through your imagination. You could take a more proactive approach and move towards a solution.
Yeah. And it's like, it's really good because it's like, it's such a healthier state of mind as well, because you're not losing your mind on shit that shouldn't bother you, you know. And like, you got motherfuckers like me who are fucked in the head and do that on default, and like, you got to correct it. But you know, it's like, it's good. Like I was telling you, like, before we turned the camera on, it's like, this whole semester has been a fucking ball of terrible. Like, you know, I've still done work and I've definitely grown, but it was a what's the word I'm looking for? Bitch. That's simple. A trench. It was a trench war of a semester. Gotcha. And I gotta, you know, it was like, I definitely learned. I got better, but now that it's past me, I can look forward to what I have going on, and just completely, like, I'm still, the taste in my mouth is still sour from what happened previously, but you know, I'm trying to cleanse the palate with, you know, like today, I just hung out, and she's just, or, you know, oh, goddamn, I have fucking completely blanked out. I am extremely tired. What was I saying again?
Today you took, like, a nice break.
Yes, took a breather. I'm also extremely exhausted from not sleeping the entire semester, but it is what it is. But anyway, like I was saying, we're back in it, and we are chilling. We get to reset. We get to cleanse the palate of the bitter taste that the past left. But I have everything to look forward to, you know, going back to work at the internship. I'm chilling, and then keep going. I'm hanging out with my family. Christmas is in a week, which is fucking the best holiday. My favorite holiday. And then you know, you got the end of the year. You got a new year coming, new growth. I still have some lingering problems from, you know, the previous semester, and the challenges that is proposed and that is extended, but we still can move forward. You know, we're here in the new. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery. Today's a gift. That is why it's called the present.
Yes,
fucking
sir.
Master
Yes,
Uwe with that gem.
Yeah. That's why it's called the present. Yeah. I know. I like that. Like today.
Drop the Uwe.
But yeah, man, that's like, here, just check the time real quick. Oh, we're chilling. Yeah, that's huge, you know, because like I remember freshman year. This is kind of like not exactly related to what you said, but it's involved with getting engulfed in the past, right? And it's like, after, you know, like, I'm sure you've had this experience. Maybe you haven't. But, like, after you break up with your girlfriend, like, your first ever girlfriend, you're like, oh, my God, I lost the love of my life, you know, or something like that. Or, you know, maybe not to that extent.
No,
but
I know exactly.
Yeah, because, like, that's, and, like, if this girl is watching this, like, don't get me wrong, like, just understand where I'm coming from, all right? Yeah. So, I was like, I didn't, like, cry or anything, but, you know, I spent the next fucking, man, like, 3 to 6 months, like every single day of every single hour, like I would always have a thought popping in my head
Hey, you're
about
just
her.
bumming.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And like at times that would.
Was this pre or post gym?
Oh, this is post gym.
Post gym.
Post
Interesting.
gym. No, yeah. I mean, it was also my first relationship.
That's true.
So like, and I remember it got so bad one time, and like. It would literally be the only thing I would think about. It was like freshman year. I remember going to psychology class, and I was just like, dude, I just keep fucking thinking about it. I'm just like, I cannot stop thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I was aware that I was going on, and like I wasn't like completely getting engulfed about it. I was like, oh, like what am I, like, is this ever gonna stop? And then I just I just accepted it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, fuck it, dude, whatever. And then what do you know? You know, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't like, oh my god, like fucking blank slate, like I'm clean, enlightenment. No, like it wasn't like that, but it was that release, it was that awareness shift, you know, and it was like, as psychology class went on, and like, sure, you could be like, oh, Cal, you just got distracted. Sure, maybe I was to some extent, my attention went elsewhere, but it's that realization and that shift into acceptance of being like, it is what the fuck it is, it's in the past, right?
Yeah.
And like, of course I continued to think about it because it was wired into my programming, but you're not becoming engulfed by the past, and you're able to enter the present, and it's very not gratifying, but very freeing when that happens. And I can say from my own experience, and like, you know, the very limited amount of like experience I have within relationships, I'll know for the next time something like that does occur, I'll like have that experience to lie back on, which is what you should do, and learn from the past.
Yeah, and like adding to that, the only reason why I asked pre or post gym is because I have the proverb. I believe I've said this before on the Conscious Cast.
Yes.
It was my ex-girlfriend, or you know, my first relationship ending that brought me into the gym, and the whole deal is, my proverb is, for those who wish to be free of pain, find your peace in the house of gains. And it's like, you know, it was that same shift of attention, you know? I'm not listening to my fucking sad songs, trying, like, you know, enjoying my fucking pain out here.
Yeah.
I'm just like, fuck this, let's get rid of it. And do bench pressing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I did, and it was the greatest.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've never looked back ever since.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, sometimes you just gotta, you know, you gotta change the channel.
Yeah, facts.
You know, you gotta just fucking move on. That's another thing. That's fucking huge, is like being able to let go. Coming from a guy with extreme anger issues, trust when I say this. Don't hang on to shit. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you don't need to.
Yeah.
And like, I guess we'll end this part of the podcast with like, or this recording session. We do these in threes because the camera battery's shit. But
we're making an upgrade soon, okay?
Yeah.
We're good.
But essentially, I saw this in fucking Godzilla King of the Monsters. This is where I grab my wisdom from, is obscure places. But it is, if we want to heal our wounds, we need to make peace with the monsters that created them.
Yeah, that's deep.
Just learn to let go.
Yeah.
Forgive them. Forgive the monster.
Yeah.
And let your wounds heal.
For the monster is in part created by you.
Indeed.
Yeah. Nice.
We're talking about, you know, like moving on, like in the previous,
Segment?
the previous segment, and I was talking to Cal about this. I'm a little winded because I did a little boxing demonstration, but I was talking to him about how over the semester my mindset's changed from like going to the gym, just beating the hell out of the bag for the sake of beating the hell out of the bag, and just, you know, running through the same shit that I already know, just for the sake of, you know, releasing the demon. And it's the same thing with lifting. It was just kind of like a venting thing. But now I'm coming out the other side of it. And I told him a couple weeks ago, I texted him about a video I posted on my Weapon X martial arts.
Go follow it.
Instagram, yes. It's Weapon X _ martial _ arts, I think.
Take it.
Yeah. In my, you know, because I've been getting back into it because I like Cal was saying before the podcast, school's over, we have more time to focus on the shit that we can actually enjoy. And it was right when I got back to posting regularly on that account that I kind of realized my mindset had shifted from like boxing and working out, from just being a release from the demon to more about refining technique. And like when it comes to the gym, I train for function, not physique. Physique is a byproduct of function, but I like to train for a certain function, which is fighting, which I love. But it's that, like, it was before it was about just releasing the violence, and now it's about developing my style. And in the middle of that, I discovered how I should be fighting personally. And all the boxing stuff I know, most of it at least, but now it's about, like in the middle, I found my style, but now it's about developing. It's about developing the technique. It's about that mastery that I was talking about in earlier episodes of the podcast. It's about becoming the sword, the sharpened scalpel, the precision instrument. And I'm evolving from the bludgeon to the scalpel. I'm becoming more streamlined in my mind now that I can focus on something, as opposed to, it's like playing whack-a-mole. During the semester, I'm trying to fucking smash 100 things back into the ground. It's like a nail that won't fucking stay in the board. I'm banging everything. I'm being sloppy. I'm being rough, but it's still getting done. It's getting done good, but it's sticking in. And I got to fucking smash it just to get it out of the way. Now that there's one nail in the board, I can just make sure I hammer it. One nail. Get good at the flow, the motion of the hammer, and then how straight can I drive this nail in every time? It's a bent, fucked up nail. I got to get it in. I got to get it into the wood. And I'm hammering away like an anvil, sharpening a katana, or not katana. Jesus Christ, hammering away at a molten sword. I was the molten sword during, I was pure passion, aggression, and unrefined, unfinished product. This semester, I was getting burned all the time. Stress, heat, deadlines, anxiety, expectation. All of this heat has, heated me up. And now that I've been quenched, hammered, went through that fire, I can cool down and I can focus on what I like. I used today to reset, like I said in the previous segment. But now I can be better, move on, and focus. Focus is the big thing. I can do the stuff I like to do, and that I really want to get better at and develop myself. Now that I don't have the clouded vision that the stresses of the past school year or semester have put onto me.
Yeah, definitely, man. And that's like Ralph Smart. I talk about him a lot. I haven't watched him as much recently, but he makes this point, exactly what you said, right? You can't have like a whole bunch of priorities. You got to have a priority, like that one priority. I'm not saying you're only doing one thing, but like you said, you don't have as many things to focus on, so you can narrow in on this one thing and just focus on that. Like obviously you'll have your internship, you'll have responsibilities and stuff like that, but like you'll still have time to put in that work. Mm-hmm. And like I guess boxing, or even at the internship, like you could focus on that, become better at that job, which you pretty much have a lined up gig after college, right? Yeah, so that's pretty good. But yeah, it's kind of on that point. It's if like how I've been like really successful in school, and like I applied for like an alumni scholarship today, and I was writing like all the like my accomplishments like as an academic student, and I was like, wow, man, it's like crazy how much I've elevated from like high school to now, and it's like reaching that new level, reaching that new peak of just being able to like thrive at such a high level that I wasn't like that good of a student in high school. Like I was fucking all right, but like in college, what do you know? Like I'm like a 4.0 student, and like luckily for me, I have there's a lot of factors that go into that, but a lot of it is being able to focus your attention on one thing. Like for me, like, I'm not attached to any one group, right? And I'm able to, like, choose my schedule. I'm able to choose my routine, you know, and, like, do schoolwork when I want to do it. Like, obviously, we have class, we have responsibilities and stuff like that, but it's about mastering that craft, figuring out a routine and schedule that works for you, right? Figuring out, like your approach, right? Like, obviously, your approach isn't going to be universal, right? Like, what works for you might not work for me.
Yeah.
And, like, when it comes to school, like, looking back, like, I don't really reflect on it too often. Like, looking back, I'm like, I don't really even understand how I do so well, because don't get me wrong, like, I obviously really do really well, but it's like it almost indirectly fell into place like that, and kind of for advice that I could offer, and, like, just kind of some insight from my own personal experience, you could take it if you want it. But it's figuring out that approach, you know, without distraction, you know, and it's like you could apply this to so many areas, and I'm sure Cole, you know, could vouch for this as well. You know, like, whatever you're, like, stick to what you're really fucking good at, you know what I mean? Like, find your lane, find, like, what you're really fucking good at, right? And, like, obviously explore your interests, right? But once you, like, figure out what works for you, like, while listening to others, like, taking advice, like, if I'm gonna go fighting with Cole, not fighting, I'm gonna go punch the bag with Cole, like, next Monday or something like that, right? And I've never fucking done that before, so we'll see what the fuck happens, right? I'll probably be booty cheeks, but, you know, like, we'll see what happens, you know? And, you know, I'll figure out my style, you know, like, after probably, like, a long-ass time of fighting, but it's like, once you figure out what works for you, and then you start to, like, build those habits and behaviors, and you start to see success, it might come easier for others, but stick to it without distraction.
Yeah, and you gotta focus. You know, it's like you gotta stop looking at the spider web and start looking at the thread. You know, the one thread. That's all you really need to focus on. And it's like, sure, there's a lot of branches that can come off of that and, you know, spiral outwards, but it's just the one thread that you really have to worry about. You know, focus on something that's truly important to you. And now that I have the freedom to focus on what's really important to me, you know, which I kind of cast aside just because of the nature of the semester and just what the fuck it did to me, you know? Like, we're just going to go from extreme low to extreme high right now. Yeah. Extreme low, I was in the throes of, you know, fury, and I wasn't talking to my family because I was just getting bombarded by school. And now, I'm free. I have no expectation on me immediately outside until tomorrow when I start work, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I can just move on and enjoy, like, the simplicity that if I have problems at work, I can leave them at work.
I have a question for you. You know, like, so, you know, like, obviously we've discussed, like, when those fucking, you know, when the cobwebs are free, you know, like, kind of like, we just give a little explanation real quick, and then I'll shoot you with the question. Kind of like, for a lot of people, you know, like, they're in a situation where they want to do stuff, like, let's just say go to the gym, right? Like, they don't have time or something like that. When you're in those types of situations, right, where you get the cobwebs coming in and you can't, obviously, we're not always going to be able to do what we want unless we're fucking billionaires, you know? So, like, what, in those types of circumstances, like, because you were still weightlifting, you were still boxing, you were still, you know, doing this stuff while the semester was going on, and, like, throughout this could be, like, beyond the semester, in life in general.
Yeah.
Like, how have you been able to maneuver yourself in, like, a balanced state through those cobwebs when, like, you know, you have a lot of responsibilities?
Well, here's the thing, the gym will always be a constant. You need to maintain, some of the things in your life need to be constants. Like, the gym is a constant in my life, and it will be, you know, it'll always, no matter how rough shit gets, the gym will always be a place that I visit, because I have to get it out, you know. It's a matter of mental refinement and physical discipline, you know. And that's where I have to go there to get it all out, you know, because that's when I don't, like, I just started doing, like, therapy, but before, my therapy was the gym. And it's like, you know, there's stuff like that where you have to allot yourself, hey, I gotta be fucking here for 2 hours a day and get it done, you know. And whether or not that's therapy, like playing video games or something, just to unwind, going to the gym, boxing, doing whatever you like physically, or talking to somebody for an hour about your day or about, you know, something that happened to you. You know, like, one thing, you need to establish constants in your life that are staples of your routine, for lack of a better term. You know, like, you have something that you feel that you need to do that, like, is a passion of yours. You need to give it time. You need to guarantee it time every day, or at least a good amount of time during your week.
Yeah.
That's what the gym is for me. You know, I have a day to just drill boxing or fighting, and you know, just like I have a day to exercise every muscle group. That's what I have. It's the same thing. Like, say you want a day just for your therapist, or you know, to hang out with people you love, or to do something you love, like drawing or something you like to get better at. You know, you have to allot time. You have to have it be a staple of your routine.
Yeah, dude, 100%. It's like, and like that's. I was hoping you would point towards that, like with the question. It's like making those constants. You know, like every single, maybe not every single day. It could be like, you know, visiting your counselor like once every 2 weeks or something like that. But it's really just like if you're a person without a way out, you know, you're gonna be stuck.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, most of our generation, that stuck, that place of being stuck and location of being stuck is right there in that iPhone, you know, and or it could be. I mean, I don't want to say it could be too attached to anything, right? Like, and I'm not going to say
you don't want to get consumed.
Yeah, consumed, right? And I'm not going to say moderation in everything because, like, what, moderation in genocide? No, you can't do. Okay, like moderation in a lot of things. Okay, so and like you got to find that balance, right? But also stay disciplined at the same time, right? Like, understand, like for example, like sometimes, like I have certain days of like when I work out, right? Like so chest and like today was chest and legs and biceps, right? And I hit that every single Wednesday. But like if something comes up, right, I am that flexibility is there, right? And I only do bench and deadlift, but that flexibility and that not being too attached to something because it could bring on worse consequences. Actually allows you in the long run to save yourself internal, I guess you could say suffering, and to still make time for the things you love, but balancing those other responsibilities that are necessities that need to get done.